Are you where you saw yourself 10 years ago financially?
Many times, people set unrealistic goals. Did you know that at every age of your life, there's a financial decision that you have to make? We lack accountability. Nobody asks you the tough questions about your money, which ideally means you don't have a relationship with your money. It's not how much you earn that makes the difference. It's how you manage the much you earn.
Today's topic is financial literacy. Joining us is someone who we've been looking forward to hosting for a very long time now. So today, I am not only happy, but even more present than ever because this is an opportunity I've been looking forward to. Today with us, we have Racheal Musima, a standard chartered marketer, sales sniper, and fearless coach who educates her students in terms of financial literacy and strategic collaborations. With over 10 years of experience in this field, that's just a drop in the ocean of what I know about Racheal. Ladies and gentlemen, Racheal Musima.
Wow, thank you so much. For a minute, I just, smiled and said, was that me you are talking about? So my name is Racheal Musima Senyondo, and I'm privileged to be a sales guru. Like she said, I am a fellow in the Institute of Sales Professionals from the UK and a chartered marketer from the Chartered Institute of Marketing in the UK. But important to this discussion, I'm a personal finance trainer certified by Bank of Uganda. And this conversation is going to indulge more of finance. I've done this for over a decade, like she said, and I'm happy, more than willing to share experiences and knowledge regarding this on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Racheal, for having time and making time to be here with us. Yes. Now, at the start of the year, so many people set financial goals. We are already past the mid of the year. People are complaining about how fast-paced the year has been moving. And people set goals like, I'm going to reduce on the eat-outs, going to finally use that expense tracker. Are you where you saw yourself 10 years ago financially, or even just at the start of this year? Are you where you saw yourself?
Well, that requires a bit of vulnerability. And John C. Maxwell says that vulnerability is power. Exactly. I want to celebrate myself, first of all, for being where I desire to be. And this is why. For the past 8 years, I was servicing a loan with one of the top tier banks in this country. And I said, by this year, I should be done. So I want to say that I am debt-free, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulations, Racheal.
So that's a huge milestone. But back to setting goals, financial goals, I want to say that many times people set unrealistic goals.
That is true.
You actually don't have the income, but you want to buy land in Naguru of 200 million. You're actually servicing a loan and you want to take a trip with your girls. So reflecting on the goals that are set at the start of the year, I would therefore recommend that people have an introspect at where they are at the moment with no comparison. As an individual, where are you? And then you can decide where you want to go.
Love that, Racheal. And already you stepped into the next thing I was going to ask you. What do you think the limitations to us achieving our first goals in the year are? What sets people back? Besides, say, be comparing themselves to other people wanting to go and things they cannot afford, buying land. What are the highlights that you would suggest?
Okay, that's a broad question, but just bringing it home here, some of the limitations that we have. Number one, we are not honest. We are not vulnerable with ourselves. I said at the start, I made peace that I had a loan to pay. So there is no way that I was going to have eat-outs all the time. So the limitation to achieving goals is that we are not honest with ourselves. Number two, we lack accountability buddies. I want to share something so profound I did this week. I actually gave my ATMs to an accountability buddy. Why? I realized I was doing a disservice to myself. Every time I wanted something, swipe. Every time, swipe. So that's another thing. We lack accountability. Nobody asks you the tough questions about your money, which ideally means you don't have a relationship with your money. Or the relationship you have are the wrong accountability partners who very well know you have to pay for your school, you have to pay for your continuous learning, and then also they're asking you to take a trip. Limitation, disaster.
So the priorities are just messed up like that.
You actually want to learn and grow, get better, but you're taking a trip. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. So the limitations are self and then community driven. And that's why we need very strong communities like these, whereby you are looking into your financial goals that actually are going to take you to where you want to be. The other one is debt. Not all debt is bad, but unbudgeted for debt is bad. And then also getting this debt from non-regulated avenues. Right? Someone is going to give you an unrealistic interest rate, an unrealistic time of repayment. So you're going to find that you're not going to achieve what you had set out to do. So therefore, I recommend that as we step into our goals, one, we need to look at self, because we are also, before we start looking outward, we are also limitations to achieving our financial goals.
Exactly.
Everyone passes by with a bag, you want to buy it. A Louis Vuitton, you want it. A Chanel, you want. So it's a want, right?
Keeping up with that standard.
Exactly, that's right. Then two is the communities that we belong to, and that speaks into the relationships we have. You've set out your goals smart, but those around you do not have smart goals. So that means you're going to be taken up by the wind. Third, and also very important, is the unbudgeted for unplanned, unwanted debt. Remembering that all debt is not bad.
That's so insightful, Racheal. What would you say to people who have a community of accountability partners, quote unquote, but they do not perform their role, and now they're looking to new people, looking forward to meeting new people who can be their accountability buddies? Where would they find such people? How do they know that's the right person? They themselves don't even have that self-accountability before we even look out.
Once I was watching football and I saw Mbappe, I saw Messi, I saw Ronaldo doing so well at the pitch. But I asked myself, I did an introspect and said, are they really good? Or is it the coach that is good? So it's what I want to say. When you're so hungry to where you want to go, then you're going to find the right coaches. And now we're privileged to even have online schools.
Exactly.
Uketa, for example. You have an online school where you can roll inside there, study finance, you have a tracker, you have mentors.
Experts.
Exactly. So that really helps a lot in building the right community and the right accountability. But then also I want to tell people that if you realize that the community that you're belonging to is not working, you're not a tree, move. Move. Because I remember walking away from some relationships, and to death they think I'm unkind, I'm unrealistic. But when I discovered that they were no longer serving my purpose, I needed to make that bold decision to move. And that's how I managed to settle my loan in record time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations on settling that loan and finding a better space for yourself. I'm so proud of you for that.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah, okay. And then what would you say to people who have a limited budget or even income but would love to save?
All right. Limited budget, limited income. Listen, it's not how much you earn that makes the difference. It's how you manage the much you earn. Does that make sense? It's not that you're earning a lot of money that you will save. It's how do you manage, how do you apportion that income? But then also, before speaking about income, we need to look at people want to save, but they're not working.
Yes.
This generation here doesn't like to work.
Nope. The Gen Zs. They rather work at 12, do online jobs. But for these online jobs, most of them are scams.
Yes. That's true. So we can't even talk about incomes because people don't have the jobs.
People don't have the jobs.
So it's very important that you reflect on how much you're earning but then also apportion it accordingly. And this is where I want to tell people, if you ever want to build generational wealth, you need to make sure you have a budget. List everything you spend on. And for the ladies, tomatoes, onion, pedicure, manicure, don't you forget personal development. All those expenses need to be listed, right? Then when you realize that you have a deficit budget, you're going to report early at work, you're going to respect your boss, you're going to communicate better, because it is that income then that we are going to try to apportion to this deficit budget. So when you are apportioning the much you're earning, you need to make sure you have the needs, you have the wants. And he who saves money, invests money, and protects money builds generational wealth. It's not how much, it's how you manage the much you are earning. Yeah.
That's so deep and insightful. It has spoken to the generation I was born in, I'm a Gen Z, and I think we shall pick up on working hard, not just smart. Yes, as Racheal has said. And lastly, when we look at savings, someone wants to protect the little they have, or even they have amassed wealth. How would they be able to save it for future generations? How would we be able to now build generational wealth and have it secured in case someone, God forbid, passes on tomorrow?
Wow.
How would their families be protected? Say they have goals they have set, and in 10 years they want to build a house. In 5 years they want to get married. Where can they keep that money in a secure way that they do not just spend it out of bandwagon influence?
That's a broad question. It's a very, very broad question. But since I represent one of the top tier brands in this market, I'm going to skew it that direction. Working for a leading life assurance company, definitely Prudential, I'd like to say that we have solutions for such. We curate proper financial plans for our customers. Did you know that at every age of your life, there's a financial decision that you have to make, including protection? And let me just drift to a story. At university, I was privileged to be a government student, and we're given a stampedes. Thank you. So this stampede, I remember it was a lot of money then, about 400,000 Uganda shillings.
That's a lot of money for any university student, even today.
Exactly. But trust me, girl, I chomped that money like there was nothing. You know, every time they were putting the stampede on the account, we knew which shops to go to, where to watch the movie. So
It has to go to.
exactly. And we sampled, trust me. Being a foodie, we hopped from new eat-out place, but now I reflect and I'm like, wow, I should be having like a farmland somewhere. So that pushes me to my point, right? For every monies you earn, make sure you include it in your income basket. Don't let any income not be listed. List all your incomes, whether it's a gift, whether it's a stampede, whether it's a fellowship amount, whether it's a gift, list it, right? Now, to protect, now this is where we come in. We protect in events that we live too long. You don't want to be that beggy grandmother.
Really? It's not giving.
It's not giving, like the young people say these days, right? It's not giving. You want, and this is the story that I've curated for myself, that when I am 70, God willing, or when I'm 75, I want my children to say, where is mommy? She's in Greece. Where is mommy? She's in Bangkok. And that I have to plan now for my retirement, right? And then also, as we age, there's critical illness because the body wears out. You can't be at the same momentum at 70 or at 80. So I also said that you can plan for that stage, and you're not the person who is having car wash shares. Not that they are bad. Listen, they are not bad. Social capital is actually very important, but you can save yourself now by starting to plan for tomorrow, right? And also in events that you go out to early. As often at 29 years, mother worked so hard to give me the right education that I received, and that has positioned me today. But she struggled. And I said, how my rich father had planned and put away some money on a rainy day, we wouldn't have gone through things that we went through. For example, having to hoard some of my mom's shoes and clothes. We did that with my brothers and my siblings, right? So the solution is here. You start planning now. Then that also pushes me to another point, the education. If you have children, parents need to focus on the education of their children at university, whether or not we are leaving. They will have the quality of education they desire, right? But that is not a dream. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't hope, we don't dream, but we make sure that we are planning now.
Urgent, it's now.
Exactly. So like now you put aside a relevant, really according to how much you earn. Please don't overdo it. Some people will tell you the dreams are so big, so you need to put aside this much, but when you're not even earning it.
Don't in every slice of pizza, you're seeing a brick.
Exactly.
You need to be more realistic.
That's the word I was looking for, thanks to English. So you need to be very realistic with how much you're earning, that as you're saving, as you are investing, you are protecting with a credible partner. Definitely, that's Prudential. So we'll be giving your incomes a safety net, right? We give your incomes a safety net that in event of all those risks that I have mentioned, you have put aside some money. For as low as 100,000 you start. But then also, I'd like to speak about what we call an emergency fund. And that's where we'd have unit trusts, right? That your money compounds every single day. That when you have emergencies, you're not liquidating your insurance policy because it's for a particular period of time, but you have a go-to basket that you can just get that money in a space of one day. We have so many service providers regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, capital markets. You have to make sure you're dealing with a credible service provider. Last but not least, we have bonds, we have stocks. So for this and more, people need to roll onto the Keta course, the financial course, that they need to understand the age that you are at. If you are Gen Z, if you are millennial, what are those right financial decisions you should be making at that age? Yes.
Lovely, Rachel. It was amazing having you. I tried to tell you all that is it from the financial guru. Now we could go on and on and on, but we do not want to overload you with a wealth of knowledge from Racheal. Thank you so much for joining us today. That was it from us. Looking forward to seeing you next time.
Sign up.
So we have come to the close of our conversation. But before we sign out, let's have some parting shots from Racheal Musima.
Wow, I can't believe our time is fast spent and we have to say bye to our audience.
Life so fast.
But this is what I have to say. If you're looking for a financial wellness coach and a sales guru, please, when people are sick, they go to doctors, they go to physicians, they go to gynecologists. When people need to heal financially, they look for financial coaches. So you need to look for Racheal Musima Senyondo, and please follow me on Instagram, Racheal Senyondo, LinkedIn, Racheal Senyondo, and definitely Gen Z's TikTok, Racheal Senyondo. And last but not least, you need to speak to your financial wellness advisor, definitely preferring Prudential, which is the leading life insurance company. You get an advocate at the online school that would give you credibility for all your financial wellness. Together we can get so far.
So make sure to sign up for the Uketa courses at www.uketalearning.com.
Until next time.
See?